gamers, today we have another guide, and today we are going to have OOTD guide. Now, before we get started, depending when you're watching this build will probably be good for a while unless we get some major changes in the game. And I think, so this build is probably going to be good for, I don't know what season we're in now, 8? So we're going to be good for season 8 and 9 most likely. Now, or if we're in 9 and 10. One thing I want to say before we get started, if you're wondering why am I making a guide for OOTD, because in the most recent tier list, I put it at the bottom. This tier list is for pro level play, and OOTD at pro level play is not very good because top level players can punish Order of the Dragon very easily, and every villager you lose is very, very painful because they're basically 1.25 villagers compared to, or I guess 1.25 villagers worth because they gather faster, right? Or whatever the amount is. At the top level, OOTD, not great, but don't be discouraged because OOTD in lower leagues I think is a lot better because all the problems that OOTD has, which is people attacking you from multiple sides, people picking off your units with some really, really good micro, that doesn't really happen in lower leagues. So because of that, OOTD units are very tanky and very good. So I decided to make a guide with my probably favorite OOTD build right now. I do play it still, even though I don't win a lot when I play against top players, but I do love playing OOTD. So I'm going to be showing you how to play OOTD with 2 TC. And I'm going to be showing you 2 hardest matchups. 3 games, but 2 hardest matchups. One is Malian, obviously one of the worst matchups for OOTD. And then the other games that I'm going to show you is against Jushi Legacy, which apparently has good win rate against OOTD. And I think it's because people rush castle maybe with Jushi, I'm not sure. So anyway, let's get started. I already have a guide for OOTD Castle Rush, I'm pretty sure, and OOTD Feudal Aggression, so this is kind of the macro variation of it. Now, the best part about OOTD is Imperial. The worst part about OOTD is Feudal Age and Castle Age at the high level. But, like I said earlier, that is not that big of a problem in lower leagues because people don't put as much pressure into you, so you're more likely to reach Imperial where OOTD is really, really good. So, the build that I'm going to be doing here is 2 TC in all the games, but in this game I'm going to be doing mine work, and I'm going to show you when to go mine work, when to go chapel. And in the other 2 I'm going to go chapel. So this one is mine work, then 2 chapel games. Now, we're going to do the regular scouting, nothing crazy. We're going to go 5 on food, 2 on gold, and then rally onto the food till you can age up. Now, with every civ, you need 4 workers on food in order to constantly produce villagers. With OOTD, you only need 3, okay? So that's very important to know. So you don't need to leave 4 on food, you can leave 3 on food when you're going for second town center. So, when do you go for second town center? In my opinion, you should try against every civ and see what works and maybe try to find solutions if it doesn't work. But in general, if you're playing against like castle rush civs, because you're also kind of the best at castle rushing out of all the builds, you probably want to do a castle rush. But I think any civilization that is likely to extend the game or to go for 2 TC themselves, I think it's okay for you to go 2 TC as well. So, yeah. So, we're going to go mine work, and I'm going to start building it with 1. I'm going to add another villager a little bit later. And what you want to do is the moment you start aging up, you're going to put 4 on stone, and you're going to start rallying onto the straggler trees with the villager, right? So, all the next villagers are going to go on these straggler trees in order to get the town center, and you can see I have 3 on food, which is enough to constantly produce. Now, one thing to note is, if you're going mine work especially, but even with chapel, avoid making buildings around your town center if possible. Like if you're getting all in or something, it's whatever, but avoid placing buildings here because you would really like to have farms there. Your villagers are very big value and very expensive in terms of how much economy you're losing. So you don't want to place your farms here. You'd rather want to place them as close to your TC, at least early on as possible. So try to leave some space, and you'll see I do that in this game. So I'm going to speed up. I just added another worker. You can see I'm slowly gathering up resources. And now where do you go for second town center? So this is my vision right now in the game. And there's multiple spots you can go for. There's 2 spots you can go for. You can either go for a town center here, so you can get this woodline and gold secured. Or you can go for the TC on the deer, so you can get that. So what I figured, if I go here, I might as well get the boar as well. So I get a lot of food for nothing. And whenever you play with chapel, you kind of want to use the second TC to protect the chapel. But if you're playing with mine work, you can just plop TC, you know, more out there and not have to worry about it too much. So from this point on, I think it's good to leave like 5 on wood, just so you can slowly gather wood. And 5 on wood for OTD is quite a bit because their eco is, I guess, different from other civs. That's going to allow me to potentially make production buildings if I need to. That's going to, you know, if I'm getting all in all of a sudden, or if I need to wall, or houses, upgrades, whatever. 5 villagers on wood at this point is plenty. And this game is probably the best that you're going to see build order-wise out of the 3 that I'm going to show you, because the other ones are a bit more reactive, which you'll see what I mean by that. So this one was the most, like, standard macro, and my opponent behind this is going for just straight into cow boom, which is what Malian usually does. So as you can see, the workers split right there. Now, because I don't have chapel, I can just go for food anywhere, and usually when you do go for mine work, you kind of want to go out on the map and get the food, because even if you go for farms now, they're not going to be as good as farms if they were. If you had chapel in the first place. So, I'm scouting. I just saw that he is going cows. I'm making a tower here for vision. You know, the 5 villagers on wood I mentioned. I could have also made a barracks and maybe made a spearman just to force him to make some units. But I'm going to just make a tower. I'm going to start walling this off. You know, just securing my base. And actually, he goes for stable very soon and upgrades his scouts into warrior scouts. So it's good that I started walling like this. I'm gonna kill this boar. And I'm gonna get the wall here, and I'm gonna build a mill. So now my eco is deer plus boar, some sheep, and then gold. So it's very, very strong eco already. I just need to start gathering. It's pretty bad now because they were moving. But if I was getting all in, let's say, this is why you leave 5 on wood, because by the time you see what your opponent is doing, you can decide, do I make production buildings, do I make units, what do I do? So now I'm using all that wood to make this little tower. I'm using wood to do these walls, and if you look at my vision, I'm feeling pretty secure. Once this finishes walling, there's nowhere really he can attack. He's going for warrior scout now. I managed to wall this off completely, so that's secured. I got survival techniques for the boar, and what you usually want to do, so just to explain when to go for a castle immediately and when to make units or when to get upgrades. So you make units when you either want to be aggressive, which is also okay. If you want to go to TC into attack, that's fine. You can go for 2 TC into eco upgrades into castle, or you can go straight into castle after 2 TC. Now, the time where I think it's better to go eco upgrades into castle is when you're playing against some of the slower civs, like maybe if you're playing against Abbasid, it's going to TC or something, or English to TC, because even if you do get eco upgrades, you will still get to castle before them. So getting the eco upgrades will be pretty good. In this case, I decided to just get to castle ASAP because Malian Boom is very strong too, and you can see he's very close to castle, so I didn't want to delay my age up. Now, another big reason when to go mine work, when to go chapel, by the way, which I forgot to mention, is when you're going to use these upgrades, okay? So that's what you gotta ask yourself. If you're playing whatever matchup it is, are you going to be making men-at-arms? Are you going to be making land shits? And are you... This upgrade is so-so. The most important upgrade is golden kudas. So, in this matchup, going for men-at-arm plus archer is very strong. So that's why in this one I went for mine work. In some other matchups, if you're more focused on cavalry, obviously going mine work with cavalry doesn't really give you anything, so chapel is better in that situation. So, yeah, just look at the comp you're making. If you're always making men-at-arms, let's say you're in Gold League, you're always making men-at-arms, then mine work's probably always better for you. The scout goes down, I start aging up, and now I'm going to get some eco upgrades, and I'm going to start getting some production buildings right here. Now, this is the matchup, like I said, where I don't like going cavalry, because Malian has crazy amount of units, so I'd rather get some solid units in the field. And now I'm getting some spearmen and archer to go around the map and take some relics. That's kind of what my goal is right now. So I'm going to speed up, because the build order part is kind of done, so I'm just going to explain what I'm doing. I'm just trying to secure relics, I'm sending spearmen and archers around. I'm expecting to see... I mean, I'm already seeing scouts, a lot of them. So I'm expecting Sofa, potentially, like, you know, Musafati warriors or Donzos or archers. So I'm just making archers myself. And if opponent is just going mass archer comp or something, with Sofas, I would just go men-at-arm archer, men-at-arm crossbow archer, something like that. But because he's producing cavalry, I just continued making spearmen for a little bit while. So... securing the relics, I'm getting the sprinkled emplacement in a second here, which is going to be very, very strong, especially with the relic. And also, don't be afraid to just throw down like a tower here, and I throw another tower here, I think, later on. Just upgrade them. They give you a lot of defensive value. And as you can see, already, this is kind of why Malian is so good against OOTD, is because they can overwhelm you with a lot of units. So you need to be very, very, very careful against Malian. And whenever you can easily get overwhelmed, such as playing against Abbasid or Malian in Castle Age, what you want to do is try to play a little bit defensive. Just play to your strengths, which is Imperial. So what I'm trying to do here is secure as many relics as I can. I think I only got 2 this game. And what I want to do is just extend the game. I just want to make sure I don't take damage, I don't die. I'm starting my farm transition slowly around my TC, as you can see. So I'm just playing defensive, and I'm making units to what he is making. So I can see a lot of Musafatis, some cavalry. I'm making mass archer and spearmen. The moment I see some other units, I'm going to add some men-at-arms and some Lenshits, as you can see. Because this upgrade with Lenshits is very good, because it does a lot of AoE damage with the bleeding effect. What the hell is that wall? W. So yeah, right now I'm just getting my upgrades. I'm chilling. I'm getting the dragon armor, scale armor for my gilded archers so they can have more armor. Moving another relic to the tower. And like I said, I'm just going to transition to more and more farms. I got deer here, got boar, bears in the back. We're going to get these berries. I still got some sheep because I've been on outside food sources. And another good idea is to do with OOTD specifically, not so much with other civs. OOTD struggles, like I said, from being attacked at multiple points. And you can see here, he's trying to attack from here, maybe while pushing to the bottom side. You know, I don't know where his army is. I wasn't aware he's aging up right now until he aged up. So, good thing to do is to just stonewall, because that weakness of you being very easily harassed through multiple fronts can be solved if you stonewall in Castle Age, because then he would need rams and it gives you a lot more time to respond to that. So now, because those two sides are stonewalled, everything is here and your army should be stronger, right? So right now he's aging up, and I think in a moment I see that. Yeah, I see the age up, and I'm like, okay, let's do a little push before his upgrades kick in. I know that he spent a lot of resources aging up, and you can see he's running away. I managed to torch some buildings. We go for a fight here, and mind you, his, I don't know if he upgraded. No, he hasn't upgraded any of the units. They're still all better, and he's getting poison arrows. So whenever your opponent ages up super quickly, you can try and punish. So I get some good trading here. Good damage. I got some Lenshit bleed on the units, which they're taking massive damage. Securing a little gold. And I'm good to go. I'm getting some more farms. I'm going to age up with Palace of Swabia. Now, when to go Swabia, when to go Elsbach. I'm on 90 workers right now, which is... You need about, in my opinion, about 110, 120 with OOTD. Maybe even a bit more. 130-ish. So it's 40 workers away. It's still quite a bit. So I went to Palace of Sabia. I think the most annoying part about Elsbach, it is good, but it's also a lot more expensive, and you kind of just want to age up and get your upgrades, right? But if you have like 110 workers at this point, just go Elsbach because Palace of Sabia will be pretty useless. Getting some more production. I'm getting all my upgrades. Look at that. Everything is getting upgraded. I'm going to build university soon as well, get those upgrades going. And I'm just going to speed through to show you why OOTD is strong in the late game. And why it's important to try to get there if you want to have a pretty good advantage. So we're getting elite army tactics. Getting more and more upgrades. And if you look here, this looks very scary for me, but because it's OOTD army, so it looks a lot smaller. You think like, oh, I'm gonna lose or something, but your army is very strong still. Incendiary arrows. I'm just getting all my upgrades, and now I am moving into some culverins because I wanted to break this, and I am moving into hand cannoneers, which is the strongest unit that OOTD has. So look at this army. He has a lot of javelins, but incendiary arrow archers are basically mowing everything down, which is really good. Bombard goes down, and I get really good trades here with the units that I want to replace with better units. So if you look, my supply is still 200, and that's because I'm trading better and better units. So I just go for a fight here. I'm like, yeah, let's fight. Let's trade out as much as we can. Because behind this, I was going for Man-at-Arm, Elite Gilded Man-at-Arms with Elite Army Tactics and the Golden Upgrade. And I'm just gonna knock this down. I want you to pay attention to this. This is 11 hand cannoneers here. Watch what happens. Watch what happens with these sofas. That's pretty good stuff right there. That's pretty good stuff right there. And now, once you're in this position where you have this many hand cannoneers, it is very hard to play against them. I had some games where I played against OOTD, and the problem with hand cannoneers from OOTD is they do so much damage and their attack speed is so high that even cavalry units, they melt through, absolutely. Archers, you have men-at-arms from frontline, and then mangonels are actually not that good against OOTD hand cannoneers because you don't have 40 hand cannoneers, you have like 15, right? So it's very easy to do staggered formation or something, and then the mangonels won't hit as hard. And now we just do like the death push. Look how much the men-at-arms are tanking, and hand cannoneers are just plowing through everything else. And we're just gonna go for the death push, and as you can see, he will not be able to stop it because everything is just getting butchered. And if you look at the destruction value, it's a big destruction. I got all the upgrades, and we're just pushing through. Gonna build a little keep. TC for emergency repairs. And I just push through this game, and I win. And again, this is the point where OOTD is great, but the reason, once again, why at the top level OOTD is not great, because getting to this point is a pretty big challenge, to say the least. I do another keep here, he pushes in, but again, the hand cannoneers are just farming everything, and he ends up losing the game. Now, I'm going to show you the games against Jushi Legacy, and I have two games against two different opponents. One opponent went for Zugunu all-in, or kind of, not Zugunu necessarily, but other units plus Zugunu, all in. And one of the opponents went for Castle Rush. So let's do the Castle Rush one first. Let's get into it. Malians suck in late game. Malians do not suck in late game. Malians have second best hand cannoneers in game after OOTD. That's just something that people are saying since Malians suck in late game long time ago. Malians are pretty good in late game. They get a lot of resources for not a lot of villagers, which makes it so they can have more army. And their hand cannoneers being better than other hand cannoneers, they have +3 damage. That means that you can make more hand cannoneers that are also better than other. So, yeah. Alright. So this was a another game on Dry Arabia against Jushi Legacy, and this guy goes for Fast Castle, which is, I think, a very difficult build for OOTD to deal with, because Jushi Legacy is actually the fastest castle rushing civ. You can start aging up at like 520 with them if you have a good build, which is obviously really, really fast, and there's no civ in the game that can age up to Imperial, or sorry, to castle faster than them. Now, I do want to note something. I'm going Chapel this game. But what I want to note is, I don't know when you guys are watching this video, so this might be fixed, but this range is bugged, okay? So, the OOTD and HRE Chapel have a range of 1-2 farms. So, the range from this chapel is up to here. This indicator is wrong, okay? So, you're supposed to only have 2 farms worth of chapel buff. If you put your villagers here, they will not be buffed, okay? So this is not going to buff you. So be very careful when you're playing. Again, this will probably get fixed in the future, so I don't know when you're watching this video. But OOTD Chapel can only, fit 2 farms under it while buffing it. I'm watching this video in the future, can confirm it's fixed. Okay, thank you for that. So, this game, we got a pretty good Chapel. Well, it's forward, so that sucks, but it's pretty good because we got gold and wood and sheep. We do some deer pushing. Now, deer pushing you can do if you know how to. If you have the APM, it's not necessary. Now, what I could have done, because I'm pushing the deer, I'm just making a TC to kind of defend the gold in this wood line. But if I wasn't pushing the deer, I would probably just make a TC here and between these 2 deer packs and have all that food for myself. Now, as I finish this town center, I don't know what he's doing yet. Okay, so look at this. I'm gonna go scout now. Oh, I was like, how do I see this whole base? So I haven't scouted him. So I got my TC, and I got 3 on wood. Now I would suggest you to put 5 on food like I did last game. Pay attention to that build. That build's better. Okay. So now I'm gonna go scout, and I see this, and the moment I see this, this is Castle Rush. Jushi does not need 6 on gold for anything. So I knew this is a castle rush. So what I decided to do is I decided to make a stable and then make another stable. And I saw the age up here. Because I wanted to deny the relics and potentially harass him a little bit. Now, this is something you can do against any castle rush civ. You can go for stable or double stable, whatever you want, and try to deny the relics, and then you slowly age up behind it. So this looks like something like this. I'm making double horsemen. He's gonna try picking up the relics. I have a scout in front, so I see where he's going. He sees my horses, he runs away. So already 1 relic is now delayed, right? And now I can also harass the gold, which is pretty nice. I pick off a villager. I'm getting a wheelbarrow, because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be moving my villagers probably here. So I wanna get that wheelbarrow. He does a little wall of law. And I think I make 6 or 8 horsemen total, which is obviously very, very expensive, but I have very good food income. If you compare our economies right now. 1.2, 400, 420, blaze it, 210, and he has 600, 216, 266. So my economy is already way better. All you need to do is try to prevent some relics, delay his economy a little bit, and not die literally to whatever is coming. So I'm trying still to deny relics. I'm doing some harassment here. And slowly I'm going to make my way to castle as well. Now, I would say in this situation, I could have gone burger if it was a different civilization. But I think in this matchup, going horseman crossbow or horseman archer is really good. So I felt like burger wouldn't really give me that much value, especially because I went chapel. So I felt like as long as I get 2 relics here, I'll be pretty happy. And I think I did get 2 relics. I think in these castle rush matchups, if you're OOTD and you get 2 relics, you should be happy, okay? Anything more than that is crazy good. If you get 1, it's not great, but you know, you could have gotten 0. So, knights are coming, or lancers. I'm already making double archer range for crossbows. OOTD crossbows are insanely, insanely good. And the economy, again, I have way better eco. Not only have more villagers, but these are better villagers. So he would need to take some really good trades, or he would need to get all the relics in order to make this work for him. Now, he's pro scouting, which is common at Conqueror level for Jushi to go for pro scouts. And if you look at crossbows, they're absolutely fucking destroying these. They do a lot of damage per hit. They do, what, 36 damage per hit? Is that right? Yeah. 34 damage per hit, which is crazy good. So he loses 2-3 lancers there. I yoink the relic. He's trying to harass in the back. He's doing a little wall of law. I do a little wall of law, and I get his scout. And in a moment, I'm gonna go back. And I'm gonna pause right here because he surrenders shortly after. And people asked me in the chat, wasn't that premature? Couldn't he have played on? Let's look at the situation right here. We pause the game. I'm starting the farm transition already. 1.3k food per minute, right? 260, let's say 250, whatever. Let's say 200, doesn't matter. 1.5k and 800, 2.3k income. Look at his income right now. It's not good. On top of that, I have 7 OTD crossbows. These 7 OTD crossbows can kill 10 knights. Okay? I have way better army. I have way better eco. And he only got 3 relics. I got 2, he got 3. And he rushed castle. And I went 2 town centers. So it's already looking... Okay, it's a good thing I paused so I can show you that. Because I couldn't remember when he resigned. But he was extremely, extremely far behind. So he just taps out. I'm going to show you another game, which is where he kind of went for feudal all-in, and I went for 2 town centers. So I just want to explain the thought process there. The way you describe OOTD sounds better than D tier. The goal is to make you play the Civ, not to be like, man, OOTD is so bad, it's so shit, and then nobody wants to play it. So, yeah. Now, another thing you can do, by the way, with OOTD, which is actually great, is to go on early deer if you find them. It's very, very good for your economy, and it serves 2 things. So, if I ever run my scout to go scout, like, you know, just go for the sheep early on, and I immediately run into deer, I like to go on the deer straight away. Why is that? 2 things. Deer have higher gathering rate, and second, if I gather these deer now, then later on, I will have more sheep and more berries in my base. Right? And I'm not going on exposed food sources. So, in my opinion, this is something you can always do. So, in this game, I'm going to do that. We go on deer, and the income is good. And behind it, we're just going to age up normal way. Now, let's speed this up, because we don't want to talk about the build again. In this game, I do a little bit of trickery, because I don't need 5 on food aging up. Right? I need only 3. So I leave 3 here, and there was a convenient stone right here. So I just decide to mine this stone instead of going for this one. And once I mine enough stone, I just put these guys back on deer. Obviously, you don't have to do that. That is just me doing it in this game because it was convenient. I'm going to age up with the chapel. Chapel over here, a little bit exposed, but we're going to cover it. Now, the other place I could have placed chapel is here, but then I only get wood line and stone. I don't really care. So it's a back chapel. It's okay, but it's a bit exposed, right? Because you can attack here and here. So what I'm going to do is, if you remember what I said at the start of this TED Talk and video, is what I want to do is use the TC to protect my chapel. So that's what I'm going to do here. I could have done this in 2 different ways. I could have made a TC here, like I am, to protect the gold and the wood line. Or I could have put the TC here. I personally prefer to put it like this, because then I could just leave my army here and kind of defend from this side. A lot easier. Have my TC and the second TC defend with shooting. I'm going to scout in a little bit. I'm going to scout stables, so I'm going to know horseman is coming. So I'm just going to run away with these guys. And right now, what I'm trying to figure out is he rushing castle or is he attacking? What's happening? So I see this horseman here, And initially I had a lot more on gold because I was gonna rush castle like I usually try to do in this case. But because I see he has a stable and the horseman is coming out, I just instantly pull off the villagers from gold. I leave 3 and I insta rally onto the wood so I can start making production buildings. So I see 2 horsemen, so I know he's investing quite a bit, and I go for stables as well. Now this is an interesting one. Why am I going for stable? Why am I not going for spearman as well? If I go spearman, I'm going to be very, very defensive, and OTD horsemen are actually kind of like mini knights. So if he has only horsemen, let's say he doesn't make any other units, then my horseman will kill his horseman. But if he goes Zuginu, my horseman will kill the horseman and the Zuginu. So by you making a horseman, you actually force him to go spearman, right? So not only he's going horseman, he's going to go Zuginu because Zuginu are just good. Now you're forcing him to go spearman too. So, and instead of me doing that, I'm probably just going to make horseman archer. You could also make man-at-arm archer if you wanted, but I think horseman archer, in my opinion, is always better as long as you're active with your units. I'll make a little tower here just in case. I'm getting my upgrades. You can see, because we're going to be fighting, I'm getting my eco upgrades. Because I know, okay, we're fighting in feudal. He's going to be pushing for a while. You don't know if this game is going to be 10 minutes or 20 or 30 minutes in feudal, right? So I'm just getting my eco upgrades. I'm getting ranged armor. I'm getting double archer range behind it because I see spearmen. So if he only made horsemen and Zuginu, I would just keep making horsemen. But because I see spearmen as well, I'm like, okay, let's go double archer range and let's start cranking out archers. This game, I had a lot of food that was very forward and out there, like these over here, so I didn't want to go there because he's all-inning me. So I already started transitioning to some farms slowly, and I'm walling this to secure these barriers in the back. So yeah, I'm doing some run-bys here with the horsemen, and obviously they're very, very strong, so I managed to pick off quite a bit of units. And he decides to go straight for my town center. And all I gotta do now, another thing that OTD is very good with, is because the horsemen have a lot more HP, 250 HP compared to 125, I can just dive on this ram with horsemen and get away, and then he has to make another ram. So I try to dive here, but he intercepts me. I target fire the spearman best I can, and I just try to kill the ram. That's all I care about. I have emergency repairs, and right now him trading like this, like kind of equally, is not good for him. Like if you're the player all in, you need to get more decisive wins, not wins like that. Well, it's not even a win, it's a trade. I go for a little run by again. A lot of archers already. My upgrades are pretty much done. I went to harass him here because I saw the deer are dead. And look at this, 2 horsemen. Kill that ram so quick. Look at that. My archers are meanwhile cranking his units. And the TC is doing a lot of work as well. And his all-in just completely flops. Emergency repair gets popped. I kill the ram. And at this point, the game is over. So, there it is. Doing some harassment in the back. You don't need to do this. It's always good to do it if you have the action, like APM for it, if you have the multitasking for it. But you don't have to. I could have just defended on my own behind. And now I just go counter push because I killed a lot of his units. He ages up, but at this point it doesn't really matter because the unit count difference is massive. Look at those farms. I'm getting the cathedral behind it. And I'm just continuing to make horsemen, archers. I'm going to instantly upgrade my units. Because why not? Trying to harass, going around. You can see the army for him is basically non-existent. Getting more production, getting relics, and I can already go Swabia. Now, if you have played OTD with all-in feudal, or if you've played OTD with castle rushing, OTD with 2TC economy feels a lot better. Like, it's very noticeable how much economy more you have compared to what you're used to, obviously because of the second town center. But look at how many units I have. Look at how many villagers I have. How many upgrades I have. I've been making units the whole time. And I can still age up in 18 minutes after getting all in feudal, right? So, yeah. And yeah, I age up to Imperial. He's in Castle now. Or was in Castle earlier. I'm gonna upgrade my archers to elite archers, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Taps out. I used to play OOTD, like I said, quite a lot with castle rushing, but I honestly prefer this style. I think it's a bit harder to pull off because you gotta learn a lot of interesting things of like when to make units, how to defend, especially if the enemy is doing a castle rush. But once you get that down and once you understand it a little bit better, the economy feels a lot better. Because I think that one of the problems with OOTD is their economy feels pretty bad. That's going to be it. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. And I remember, OOTD, not great at the top level, but in every other level, apparently it's doing great. So go out there, do some OOTD 2 Town Center, and destroy noobs left and right. Twitch gamers, let's keep going.